starting to sound up. Roving schools of mackerel, 20-30 metres. Obviously started showing up to a bit of burley trail and the sounds of the boat, and a great way to catch them is to drop metal jigs down to roughly the depth they're at, and then once it's down where those fish are, go hard. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yes. It's first light in southeast Queensland. Today I'm fishing with Peter, who is a very brave man. Lives on Bribey Island near Brisbane and spends enough money in BCF to be a VIP member, which means he's got a very tolerant wife. Not that long ago he was in a raffle, a VIP raffle, and won a day's fishing with us. Now, we're out on a day with Peter, and the crew at BCF have said, well, you can't just take him fishing, we're going to make it a little bit harder for you. You've got to catch 3 species of fish which are good to eat, and amongst it reef and pelagic species, just to make it harder. If we fail, Nigel's packing boxes at the local BCF. If we get the job done, I'm going around to Peter's place and cooking up a feed of fish for him. Mate,
yum yum.
It's all ahead of us. Let's get into it. The day was always going to start out with some bait fishing. Fortunately at the time I knew some of the locals had been heading out and catching some reasonable sweet lip and pearl perch and snapper on the inshore ground. So of course early light, great time to sit in that 20-30 metre water and get some baits down there and try and target a trout or a sweet lip or a snapper.
I live at Bribey Island at Banksia Beach. I've got a furniture removal company back in Brizzy, and I commute back and forward every day, which I don't mind doing, and come home to a beautiful place like this and fish and crab every afternoon.
Go hard, go hard, go hard. Yep. You give them nothing here, Peter. They'll get you very quick. That's one of our target species, the grassy emperor, commonly known as a sweet lip. And mate, these are probably both just touching legal size. Beautiful eating fish. Yours will definitely be legal. But that's a reef species off the bag already. That's exactly what I was hoping for. We get an early bite.
We're away.
And while they're biting, pays to keep at it, mate. So we'll get these on ice.
Yep.
And we'll get back into it.
Some more.
You pulled hard?
Yeah, it's good.
Beautiful grassy.
Way to go.
Fishing lock drags, which you got to in this country. Got the potential for a coral trout. You've got species like this that get home so very, very fast. We're still not fishing that heavy. It's a 20 to 50 pound outfit. We've got 40 pound leader and 20 pound braid just to give you that sensitivity on the bite. And so much fun, Peter, and very, very tasty. Fortunately for us, the sweet lip were on the chew. It didn't take too long. Sudden bit of relief. We at least had a reef species on board. It was then the task of going on to try and find a few others. Oh. Go, go, go hard. Give him nothing, give him nothing. Good work. That's a nice one. Is that on your squid?
Yeah.
Very good.
Nailed it.
Very good. There you go. Nice sweet lip, mate. How hard do they go? Yeah. Beautiful fish. Nice work, mate.
Yes. It's a 3:30 start this morning. Got to the ramp at 4:30 to catch these little beauties. Oh, it's only 2 hours into it and we've got half a dozen fish already. Bigger ones still to come.
At the moment we're fishing with spin outfits, around 10 to 15 kilos, suitable size reel, 20-30 pound braid. It's a 40 pound leader and it's a really simple rig, just a running sinker, straight down to a 7/0 mustad hook. Just one knot, keeps it nice and easy. Half bait at the moment, full bait, half bait, you just test on the day to see what they're most likely to eat. And one trick with fishing with one of these running sinker rigs is as the bait goes, let the line run out through your thumb and forefinger. Give it a little bit of tension. If you let it free spool, you can allow the sinker to drop beneath the bait and you'll get a twisting as it drops and it causes all sorts of grief. And while you think you've got a bait in action down there, all you've got is a twisted up mess. So if you keep it simple like that, you stand to catch a whole lot more and enjoy it a whole lot more.
Bait fish was good, a different way. Like I don't normally use the sinker at the bottom and a single hook. I normally use it as a padded Oscar rig, but the sinker on the bottom worked well. We got fish straight away.
The line speed just picked up a bit on the way down, Peter. There you go, a nice, beautiful fish. We're getting bigger, which is part of the plan. Very often with fish like this on the reef, you get a great first light bite and then it'll become a bit subdued and then they'll bite again around the tide turn. The idea was to get here early, hopefully get a couple of these on board. Relieves the pressure a little bit on this challenge and then we go out and see if we can get some pelagics. In the meantime, Pete's killing them up the back. That's a very tasty fish and a great fighting one at that. Go, mate. Yes. Jeez, what have you got? What have you got? The red emperor. I'll fool you. How cool are they? Now, I would like it very much if you could catch a legal one of those. All right, mate, last drop and then we're going to go and chase something bigger and faster, I think.
Get those real screaming.
Yes, definitely. Come out a little bit wider now and hopefully going to chase up a pelagic. Great way to do it early in the day is to get out and troll. It's going to do a couple of things. It's going to let me get a feel or a lay of the land in terms of where the bait's holding and what the structure's looking like on any given day. It allows you the chance to catch a fish at the same time. I'm going to take a two-rod approach here. I'm going to Rapala X-Wrap, which dives down nice and deep. I've got a Blue Water Classic, which is going to be a little bit shallow on the other side. I'll let the X-Wrap back a long way, 50 odd metres. And then Peter's going to let out the Classic, probably 20 metres behind the boat. And we're just going to cruise around on the local mackerel grounds and see if we can find some bait and then some fish. And if we do find some deeper fish, it allows us then to at least come back and maybe bait fish for them or use jigs on them. But trolling, a great way to start. One rod screamed away and those immediate tail bumps, and I thought, here we go, we've got a yellowfin tuna. It looked like a solid one. I started getting a little bit excited. Just got smoked.
Not happy.
I reckon you got a solid tuna there. It's doing the old tail beat and the pinwheel. That's it, take your time. Yeah, sweet, yes. So I use a jigging rod when I troll. Use with braided line, I've got a really soft rod. So it sort of makes up for the compensation of not having the stretch in the line, and it doesn't hurt you as much when you wind it in. Sort of an idea of just balancing outfits. You've got to enjoy fishing with it, and then it's got to work whether you use it with braided line and monofilament line, which gives that added stretch and shock absorption. Peter was into it, he was fighting the fish beautifully, and it was one of those absolute kicks in the gut where suddenly you see the stripes come up of a mac tuna, which is not what we class as a good eating fish. So yes, it was a pelagic, but it wasn't going to tick the box as one of the species we really, really wanted. Ah, it's a big mac tuna. Not really the species that we were after. Anyway, we'll keep working, get this one back in the water. The sounder tells you so much about how to fish. It's not just there for finding a fish, but it tells you a lot about their mood, where they're likely to be feeding. In this case, we've got schools of mackerel which are feeding as deep down as 40, 45 metres, really close to the bait, and then there's some which are coming up to mid-water. Means what we're really trying to do at the moment is get a bait down to those lower fish, at the same time as ripping metals through those mid-water fish to try and see if we can pick them up. So that sounder is a critical tool for working out which technique you want to use and how you're going to use it.
Fishing with slugs on the bottom and you can see the fish, it's just different. I've never done that before. The Nigel sound is so precise, you can see the fish coming up to your slug and he sees them and says, drop it now, and you rush them through the water and you can see the fish chasing him. It's incredible, great buzz.
Get too erratic with the rod work, smooth, like you're doing before, just smooth up and down, yeah. Don't panic him too much. Nice mate, just slow on him, yeah, that's it. Got that drag pretty soft. It's a nice fish, I'm not sure what it is, it's playing a bit funny at the moment. Nice work, Pete. There we go. Oh, wow.
That's a big jewie.
Supposed to be catching pelagics here, you've got the story confused, Peter.
Jewfish, can't beat that.
We've got a mixture of Halco jigs at the moment, twisties and those guys. Everything eats a jig.
Well.
Everything eats a jig. You did well to get it up, mate, because they do like the reef. He tried to go home a few times. Good lesson there, just slow, consistent rod work. And it does fool fish when they're coming out of deep water. So he's not going to survive while going all the way back down without a drop weight. And I think big barbecue at Pete's house. How good's that?
Yeah.
What do we got? Oh yes, Moses perch, a tropical snapper, beautiful to eat. Pretty handy little feeder reef fish in there now. Let's bring on some mackerel and tuna action. Starting to sound up roving schools of mackerel, 20, 30 metres. Obviously started showing up to a bit of burley trail and the sounds of the boat, and a great way to catch them is to drop metal jigs down to roughly the depth they're at and then rip it back through them. It's one of the more addictive ways of catching fish. When you're winding physically as fast as you can wind, everything will stop. Drags will start to scream, and you literally have to wind as fast as you can physically wind. Some days you can't go quick enough, and that's what they're after. They're after speed. So get it down there, pick a jig that's the right size to get you down quickly, 55 to 70 gram. It's a good weight for a lot of different depths of water. And then once it's down where those fish are, go hard. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yes. Yep. Oh, nice spotty. Look at him. The way to keep your boat clean when you're mackerel fishing is to have the process in place where you get your esky open. If you're happy tailing fish, it's a good way to not damage the flesh, but if you're not comfortable, definitely get the gaff. They are sharp tooth gritters. Once they've done their flap, they're straight into the esky. Drop the esky on them, let them do their kicking about. They quieten down a bit, you unhook them, bleed them, get back to fishing. How you going there, Pete? Gone to float lining and pilchard. It's a great way of catching a whole bunch of different stuff. We have a mackerel. Let him go, let him go. Oh, and there's a thing down there too. Come this way. He's hooked. Oh. Pelagic. Yep. Beautiful spotty mackerel. Falling for the little lightly weighted pilchard. A bit more of a subtle approach. It's the beauty of having a few different tricks up the sleeve, Peter. We can play with a variety of fish. And mate, we've got pelagic and reef species now. I reckon I'll be able to show the boys back in the office at BCF that Pete and I go all right. We've ticked some boxes, which means I won't be packing boxes.
Yes, yes.
And we'll get in the esky, mate. I reckon we can go and catch a couple more.
Oh, it's a great feeling. It's not like sitting on the bottom waiting for a bite. When you're rushing them through the water and they hit, it's all on.
I don't know what you've hooked. Solid. Nice work. There you go, take your time on him. Take your time. Good job, mate. Wow, look at him breaching. Oh.
Another nice chewy.
That's terrible, Pete. How good's this? Mate, just destroying it on the jig. Targeting mid-water fish. And every time it's got to bottom, these guys are eating it. They're obviously down there chasing all that bait we're sitting on. And I guess too, the beauty of versatile techniques is you come across a lot of species because we're hopping around. Wherever there's bait or sign of something, we're dropping a jig or a bait, trolling a lure across it. Stands to reason you're going to come across a variety of fish. There's a school mackerel, another species, Pete. Obviously they don't get as big as their other varieties. Occasionally have spots. The way to identify them, this big white spot on their fin, which is really unique to the school mackerel. And I reckon one of the tastiest mackerel species, mate. Wow. They just got beautiful white fillets on them. Righto. Catch a Spanish for me, mate.
There's plenty down there.
Then I can give it to those boys in the BCF office. Oh. That's him. That'll do. Ooh, that just get bigger.
Oh, yes. Realised he was hooked.
That just grow. Yes, nice.
So that was, I was about 10 metres off the bottom.
Yeah, come and ate it. Beautiful. Aren't they pretty fish, Peter?
Yeah.
They're just so cool, they'll eat. Oh, there you go. Got one on the back. Here you go, mate. I'll get you to grab that one. Got him. This thing hasn't really woken up yet either. Whew. Jesus. Nice. This is what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. Grab the tail of this guy. That is one of the fish we came to catch today. Spanish mackerel, species number 6. We've got our full suite of mackerels today, Peter. We've got the schoolies, the spotties. Now this guy, solid 7 or 8 kilos of Spanish mackerel. Chomped on a pilly. There's still a fair few on the sounder there. We've certainly got them paying attention to what we've got going on in terms of slugs and pillies and activity. They love activity, and this is what we call a school size fish. They'll come around, they're competitive. They'll come along and see what's up for dinner and got a little bit more than he bargained for. He's Pete and Nigel's dinner now. Yeah, that's a solid one. Now, if I was a betting man again, Peter, I'd say you've hooked yourself your 3rd jewfish for the day, the way it's head shaking and trying to stay down deep. Wow, look at that.
Oh, that's on the back.
Wow.
That's
Come on, you may listen to that grunting.
Oh man, that's a ripper.
Well done, mate. That is awesome. And 3 dewies in one day.
Way.
Now that's a day I don't reckon you're going to forget in a hurry. And to finish now, we've got a glass out. We've got 6 quality species of fish. And I reckon
love the pilly.
This one we might even be able to let go because he's come up healthy enough.
Yeah. But
mate, I think on this note, anyway, we're going to get him back in the water and then we're going to head back because we've got a few fillets to take off.
Yeah. I've been a BCF Club member for probably 6 years now. I was just in there one day and they said, "Are you a member?" So no, I'm not. So filled out the form, and ever since then they email me and give me discount nights, and it's good value. And I've won a trip before to BCF, so anybody can win a trip down there.
After a day on the water with Peter chasing 3 species, I should have just left it at that, but no, I foolishly had to throw in that if we caught 5, I'd come around to Peter's place and cook him a feed. In line with that, I've bought the wine, true VIP treatment, and because we caught several species, I figured why not stop at 1 recipe, let's throw in 2. We've got some reef species there, and I'm going to crisp whole fry those, and then we're going to beer batter, bit of ginger beer batter, the pelagics and the jewfish, and see how we go. The plan for our reef species is to scour them, then marinate them in the fridge for 30 to 45 minutes in a soy, touch of fish sauce, bit of coriander, a little bit of lime leaf, let them sit there for a while. Following that, we're going to lightly pat them dry, cover them in corn flour, and then straight onto the wok into the boiling oil, 5 minutes each side, bit of sweet and sour sauce on top, and we are good to go. Then for our beer batter, throw in your eggs, top of the eggs, a little bit of ginger, a little bit of mild chilli, a bit of coriander if you choose, whisk all that together, then mix it up with a bit of self-raising flour until you get the consistency right, and then good inch-sized chunks of fish that you've taken off the skin. Let that sit for 10 to 20 minutes in your fridge just to settle a bit, and then an inch or 2 of oil in the pan, medium to hot, turn them around until they brown, drizzle the sweet and sour sauce on that. She's pretty good. For our sweet and sour sauce, throw a bit of heat into a saucepan. We've got 1/3 of a cup of vinegar, 4 tablespoons of sugar, tablespoon of ketchup, then a teaspoon of soy, 2 of corn flour, 4 of water, throw in some pineapple chunks, stir it up, get everything dissolved, drizzle it over the fish. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Nigel's good to his word. He said he'd come and cook some of the fish up we caught, and I've got my kids coming here tonight and we're going to have a feed of Nigel's cooked fish, and beautiful, fresh fish, can't beat it.
I've just finished a really memorable day with Peter, a new fishing mate now. I've met his family, we've had a great feed, and just on the way out of the door, shaking hands and saying farewells, he had to happen to throw into conversation that he's got a beautiful fishing boat that he would just love to take us out to explore more of the offshore waters off Moreton, and well, I think that's an invitation that we're definitely going to have to take up.